Hey, Bruce. Hey, this is a review for Triple H. And that was my terrible Macho Man impression. So, this is the new, as of, well, I think they were just released at the tail end of 2019. It is 2020 now, but I'm going to go with 2020. And this is the Mattel Triple H from the Masters of the WWE Universe. Now, this is a new line of figures that Mattel have been putting out. Later this year, I'm not sure when exactly, but they are releasing a Masters of Universe line in this style. So, well, not exactly this style, but in the classic vintage style, but with this new articulation. So, I ordered this guy online because I was excited for the line. I'm not even sure if it's going to be released over here in Ireland and in Europe. I have no idea if Mattel have any license or any suppliers for stuff over here for them. But I picked up this guy on eBay, which is Triple H. I'm not really familiar with WWE, to be honest. My knowledge from WWE goes back to when it was called WWF, and it was back when, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake, all those legendary characters were around. I know Triple H has been around for quite a while, so I am kind of familiar with him, but I don't know much about his backstory or anything like that. But I just got this figure because it looked the coolest out of them. I flip around the back of the box. There is three other figures in the wave. And this is wave 1, so you have Triple H, Evil Skull King of Kings, Ultimate Warrior, Heroic Champion of WWEternia. Then you got Sting, the Mysterious Vigilante of Vengeance, and Finn Balor, the Heroic Demon King. And then it has artwork of the character on the top of the box. It says, wielding the sledgehammer of supremacy, the nefarious Skull King seeks to conquer the Ring of Grayskull and rule over each and every superstar of WWEternia. And then you have remove Hamlet to reveal Triple H, twist into powerful battle positions. And then you have all the kind of legalese, safety requirements, all that kind of stuff. And then if I flip around back to the front, you can see the actual highly articulated for power posing symbol, the WWE logo, which looks like the classic WWF logo with Masters of the Universe. It has the kind of Grayskull stuff. Each figure comes with a comic. This is the one for Triple H. And inside you have a little bio for him, so it says 6 foot 4 inches in height, weight 255 pounds, cerebral assassin and game master who uses fear to lead, which is superstar powers, foreign objects, Skull King crown, and sledgehammer of supremacy. And then there's another brief bio about the Battle of WWEternia. And then you got a one-panel comic, and then just shows the other figures again on the back. So if I just bring up the one-panel comic, you can kind of just see it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to read the writing on it, but you can see it's just a one panel. But overall, it's quite nice. Now, as for the figure, they do mention his accessories, which is the Skull King crown, which has a skull on it. The main reason I got this guy is he does look the coolest out of them all, even though the Finn Balor one and the Sting one do look cool. But this guy reminded me a lot of, what's his name? The General from Willow with the skull helmet. So I can't remember, I think it was a General Thrag, I think his name was. I could be wrong, but it reminded me a lot of him, hence why I went for it. And since we never got decent Willow figures, he can be a stand-in, possibly. So he does come with his Sledgehammer of Supremacy, I think it was called. Is that what it was called? Yeah. Sledgehammer of Supremacy. Now, the cool thing about these figures is you can pop them off the waist. They're just intended to pop off at the waist so you can mix and match parts. The heads are on ball joints, you can pop the heads off. Apparently you can pop the shoulders out as well, which I haven't done on this guy. Oop, there goes his waist again. You can pop the arms out at the shoulder and swap out arms. So if you wanted, I know there's a Trapjaw figure being released, so if you wanted him to have Trapjaw's arm, you could have him wielding Trapjaw's arm. And they have quite a lot of articulation. So for the moment, he has this as well. Actually, I'm just going to pop this off slide this out. You can pull off his head, but I haven't done that either. I just pushed the hair underneath and just pop this out over like that. So if you wanted kind of a basic looking Triple H wrestler without all the gimmicks and stuff, you can do that too. So he does have articulation. You can move his arms up that much. You can rotate all the way around. Let's just see if I can pop the arm out. Yeah, the arm is designed to pop out. He does have elbow. He doesn't get quite 90-degree because of the elbow guards, and same with the knee guards. The knee guards do hinder a bit. They are rubbery plastic, but they do hinder the articulation a bit. You're also meant to be able to pop off the lower shins and swap those out too. So if you want guys with the furry line boots instead of these kind of wrestler boots, you can do that. Back to articulation, he has a waist swivel as part of him being able to snap his waist off. Head is on a really good ball joint. You get up, not so much back, but you get good down, side to side tilts. His wrists are on swivels with a hinge, which gives him good articulation. The elbow also hinges and swivels as well. There's nothing in the upper bicep. You can see they're designed in the old, as I said, the old Masters of the Universe style, which is really cool. You can do the splits that much. You can go forward that much and back that much on the leg. Not so much 90-degree bend on the knee. It's only a single knee joint, but there is a swivel on it as well. There's the boot cut, as I said, and there is a hinge on the foot and a swivel on the foot. So you can get some great articulation pose on him, and this will come in handy for what I will showcase in a moment. I hope I have room for everything, but what I will do is I will leave his gear off. What's cool is he has a soft goods cape. Now unfortunately, if you like me, you have dogs, it tends to be a magnet for dog hair, but it just clips on here with a single clip and it goes around him. You can remove it, as you've seen, and it's done in a soft rubbery plastic, so the spikes aren't too hard as well. Now the one downside I found with this figure is he only has one grasp hand, which means he can only hold the sledgehammer of doom in one hand, which is funny because if you look at, where was it? If you look at the twist into posing into battle positions on the back of the box, he's actually wielding it with two hands. It would have been nicer if they'd given him two grip hands, so you could do something like that. But unfortunately, you can't really simulate it that well. You can just kind of get him to hold the other one with his other hand, and just get it to kind of sit. It does. His hands are gummy as well, so and the plastic for the weapon is quite solid on this guy. It is a slight bit, pliable, but it's fairly solid for the most part, and it tends to kind of pop out of the hand a bit, unfortunately. So there is that. But if you had the two grasping hands, now the one thing that's good about these guys is eventually if you get more, you have the option of popping out the hands and swapping hands. So if you can get another hand that has the similar skin tone and is a grasping hand, you could probably swap it out and have him wielding with two hands, which is quite nice. So for the purpose of this, before I go on, he has peg holes on the bottom of his feet, so if you have stands, he should fit most stands. None of the figures, from what I can see, come with stands. He does stand a little around 5.5 inches, which I think is about the same scale as the original line. So for what I'm going to do next, I might need to move stuff around, so be patient with me, because I have a bunch of vintage Masters of the Universe vehicles. I just want to showcase him sitting inside stuff like that, so you can get him to sit in the Roton quite nicely. It does move around. Unfortunately I did cut a hole in the bottom of my Roton, so it's not a mint vintage one. I did this so I could fit the classics figures in, which are a bit taller. but it does help him fit a little bit better. He does done that quite nicely. I also have Hordax Mantisaur, it's called. Just bring it in. You can fit on that quite nicely as well. You can even get him to put his feet into the saddle pieces, the stirrups. Now, because he has only the one grip hand, you can kind of get him to hold the arms with the grip hand, but you can get him on that. I will stress that some of my vintage toys are a bit dusty at the moment. Kind of dug them out of storage, so be patient. Vintage Battle Ram with the Sky Sled. He can fit quite nicely onto it. You can even disconnect the Battle Ram itself, or the Sky Sled itself. Just do it on, just do it off camera. So you can have the Sky Sled. He does grip the side because he has the grip in hand, and it is rubbery enough so you can get around it. Unfortunately, he doesn't have grip on the other hand, so you can have him flying the Sky Sled. I don't have the what is it? The Wind Raider. I don't have one of those, a vintage one of those, unfortunately. The other figures I don't, or the other kind of vehicles, animals I don't have is Panther and Battlecat. I did have a Panther, but I gave it to a friend of mine recently enough, just around Christmas time. This is the crap. I can't remember the name of this one. I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to remind me what it is, but he does fit it quite nicely in both positions. His feet will fit into the peg holes, and then there's the, I'll just press the action feature button. I think, is it the Dragon Blast or something along those lines, or the laser, I can't remember what it's called exactly. It's the laser something. And what's cool about this is the weapons on this popped out, and you were able to wield them with vintage Masters figures, and you're able to wield them with these guys as well, which will be, as I said, in the same scale and same design as the new Origins figures that are coming out. So any of the Masters of the Universe will be able to hold those weapons as well, which is quite a nice plus. So if you're like me, have a whole host of vintage original Masters of the Universe vehicles, you can really go to town on these. And I have the drag strip, or the dragster, or whatever it's called. Again, can't remember the name of this one. And the clip for the seatbelt is broken in this one, so he does sit quite nicely. And I still have more to go. And unfortunately, my attack track is covered in dust, and it's missing a battery cover, and it doesn't actually work. I tried to put new batteries in it and tried to manipulate the actual stuff on it. They are bringing out new versions of Battlecat as well. They had prototypes, or they showed versions of them. So there is a Battlecat and Panther coming. So and I think there was a new Sky Sled on the way, or not Sky Sled, a new Wind Raider on the way as well, if the line does well. So he fits nicely on the attack track. Unfortunately, mine is fairly beaten up. Just have to do this off screen, so bear with me. Let's pop in there. The other couple of things I have is I had him in this for one of my shots. He fits on the Dragon Walker quite nicely. Now, my Dragon Walker does work. Unfortunately, I don't have the batteries for it at the moment. The batteries are in something else which you will see in a moment, and I haven't managed to go out and buy new batteries. He fits quite nicely, and you can grip the handle part on the Dragon Walker. Oh, angle up, so you can fit that quite nicely. I had a Battle Bones, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I did give it to Michael Mercy. I had two of them actually. I gave one to a buddy of mine and the other one to Michael Mercy, and he quite enjoyed it. So if you do get these figures, Michael, you can fit them on it. Here he is with the Bashasaurus, which he fits in quite nicely too. Unfortunately, again, being vintage, the clip that holds the headpiece on is broken on mine, so I just have to rest him on it, and he can hold the little handle piece. And it does give him clearance for the Bashosaurus thing. So he looks quite nifty with his Bashosaurus. And for the final thing, I'm going to have to bring the camera back a good bit, because he sits very nicely in Stridor. Now unfortunately my Stridor is missing the guns. The pegs for them are still there, so they broke off before I got this. It's a second-hand one. And my Stridor does work-ish until the battery runs out. So they do work quite nicely with the vintage Masters of the Universe. You can even have them being grabbed by the pinchers at the front. So it is quite a good line. If you're a fan of WWE, I do recommend picking these guys up. Even if you're not a fan of WWE, I do recommend. They do have plans for like Wave 3 and Wave 2, Wave 3, and they are mix and matchable with the Masters once they hit. So if you want to make some crazy He-Man costumes or Masters of the Universe costumes using wrestling parts, go for it, because they're really going to be good. And if the line gets supported, we might get more and more playsets, and we might even get a reissue of Castle Grayskull. So there you go, guys. Quick video review for Triple H, the evil Skull King of Kings. I know this video has been a little bit long-winded, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And as I say in my videos, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel and help support my channel. Cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one.